think of the new era's phasers, and it's not just the new era I'm talking about, it's also the TNG era and the TOS era. Do you miss the beam lasers? The beam lasers where they just one long beam that shot at things? I find that the more they introduced action elements, the more they took away these phaser beams, even on the ships a lot of the time, but also like just hand to hand. So if you watch TOS, the phasers look like guns. Obviously, it's a weapon, it's meant to be like that. But when we got to TNG, Gene Roddenberry very much wanted to step away from them being the military, so he made their weapons not look like guns. So you had the Type 1, Type 2 phaser, which didn't really look like guns. You did have the rifles, which still looked loosely like guns, but they used these phasers as tools. So when they're on a planet and it was cold and they needed to heat up, they would heat a rock up using a phaser. They could set it to wide to stun a wide area. They could blow out rock walls. They could disintegrate rock walls. It was an all-round tool for doing jobs that the crews didn't get. And it's really funny to me that when I watch Strange New Worlds or Discovery or anything like that, we don't get that kind of interaction. It's all kind of like the Star Trek 2009 Kelvin films in that it's a bit more Star Wars-y, they're pulses. And it really started with, I want to say, the TNG movies, with the pulse rifles used in First Contact, but also like the Defiant using quantum torpedoes or like phaser cannons. Like they were all introduced to be sort of like pulses, and I get that it gives sort of like a bullet urgency. You can have like a proper shootout, but I miss the beam laser that didn't really look like a gun, that shot one beam and you could choose to stun someone or disintegrate someone. You could use it as a tool as well as a weapon. I think it's a much more rounded way, but they've sort of lost that, and I suppose because the Kelvin Timeline films are much more Star Wars-y, and then this new era of Star Trek is much more action-y, that Discovery sort of had that phaser pistol thing. I think the last time I saw a crew member use a proper phaser, I want to say like Enterprise did have them, and they sort of started phasing them out with the rifles the Makos used, but very much in Nemesis when Picard uses the phaser to seal a door like a tool. I thought that was really, really cool. And it's just a weird thing that it's faded out, that we need this action sci-fi sort of mentality, when I think the phasers looked far cooler and were far more adaptable to what they needed. And it's one of those little things that we've lost over time that I really, really miss and wish they would bring back. What would you bring back? Like, there's so many like little things that they took away that they could still use and they'd still be impressive. And yeah, that's been the mini trek. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.